you really need the person who hurt you to tell you, I hurt you, and I'm sorry, and I feel awful that I did it? It's beautiful to get it, but do you need it? Do you not know how painful the pain was when you experienced it? Do you need them to tell you how painful it was and give you permission to feel it? You don't need it. The one who broke you cannot heal you. You have to heal you. You can't expect the person who broke you into pieces to bring those pieces and say, I'm going to put you back together. You can't do that. You can, but why would you choose to do that? Someone who has the power to destroy you and uses that power, why would you trust them with rebuilding you?
Lionel Nelson here. Welcome to A Father's Note, promoting fathers through building men. It's so important that we always stand up for our fathers. We want you to know we're with you. We're standing behind you 110%. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Father's Note. As always, where we promote fathers through building men, or shall I say fatherhood, promote fatherhood through building men. I am your host, and sitting right here to my left is my beautiful wife. Say hello, sweetie.
Hello.
All right, that's it?
That's what you said.
Hold on a second here. All right. Just bear with me 1 minute here. Yeah, I got to make some changes here. Yeah, I got to change glasses, y'all, because I got to put on my podcast glasses. I can better see you, you can better see me. All right, here we go. Now we're ready to rock and roll now. All right. Yeah, so how you doing, sweetie?
I'm better than great.
Better than great. Yeah, I'm super better than great. Yeah, hey, but listen, we got another great show for you tonight. Here on Father's Note, we do what we can to spread the word, to encourage men, to encourage fathers, to encourage husbands, to encourage sons, and to encourage our women, in our lives. We just thank God for the platform that He has definitely given us here. And we just want to thank all of you who are watching, whether or not on YouTube. Please, while you're there, support our channel, A Father's Note with Lionel Nelson. Subscribe, like the videos, even leave a comment. We'll definitely be open to it. And those of you who are watching Facebook Live, we're happy that you as well took the time out to join us. You feel free to share this, tag someone, let someone know that we are on here tonight. We have a guest he's no stranger to the show because this is his second time around. So I'm going to stop. The word guest was for the time he came on. But he's my brother now. He's a brother to A Father's Note. We're so happy to have him because we're going to be talking about the broken man. And of course, I'm not broken. I am just misunderstood. So without any further ado, we want to welcome Mr. Jean Marcelin. And guess what? He got a treat for us tonight. He brought his lovely wife on with us tonight. Come on, let's give him some applauses. All right.
How you doing? How y'all doing? How you doing?
How are you?
Hi.
Yeah, awesome, man. Hey, we're so happy that you took the time out to join us. And as many of our audience may know, you are the author of this fine book, The Good Guy, My Story by Jean Marcelin, man. Hey, real quick, man, tell us how you come, what prompted you to write this book? What inspired you to want to write this story? Oh, sorry about that. Let's see
I got several reasons for me, several inspirations of writing this book, but the main one was my kids, because growing up the way I grew up, I didn't know my parents. My parents died at a very, very early age.
Right.
And I knew nothing about my parents. Didn't know how they were, their personality. I didn't really know their personalities, where they came from. Nothing. So this was kind of a book dedicated, to my kids. and let them know who their father was and what he been through and how amazing he was, so they can carry on his legacy.
Right. Okay. All right, cool. So I'm not broken, just misunderstood. Listen, the first time you were on, I was able to only read the first part of your story.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to be a second part. I was thinking it was all of the same. But bro, that second part too, when I got into that, man, it just tells a whole nother story, another side of you and what you had experienced as a young man. I'm looking through some highlights that I have here. I got to find this one because there's one particular phrase I want to share here. Let me see here. Okay, well, it ain't showing up there because I think this is going to set the tone. And first of all, we have been talking about broken men. Why are men broken? Over the past couple of series, shows that we've had. And so much information came out, but we also acknowledge, though, that really is so broad about this broken man syndrome, if I can use that phrase. And it's not so much to say that men also identify. It's not so much that men are broken. It's just the fact that men are misunderstood, that we're just misunderstood. And not only are we misunderstood from the outside, but we also can misunderstand ourselves because we find ourselves in a place that we're not comfortable with, we're not used to, that we have never been before. So therefore, for that reason, what we might think is normal is not normal. But, it's almost like a domino effect. Once we allow certain things to happen in our lives, they create triggers that we're not accustomed to. And then next thing you know, we in this domino effect, the slow snowball effect. And then later down the line, as we progress through life, we're standing there and looking back, man, dang, how did I get here? How did I find myself in this place? And I saw that in your book when you, part 2, I'm going to say, when you met this young lady, Samantha. It's okay if we use her name because you got it.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. All right. So when you started dating Samantha, how about, because you dated some other young ladies prior to Samantha. And one particular, there was Tati, and there was don't tell me, Angie. I think it was Angie.
Yeah.
And then there might have been a little couple of more that was trickling into there, but those two you really emphasize a lot on in the book. Now, if I miss anybody, now let me know. But and it seems though in your story, Tati, but she had baggage. But it seems like Angie was the one that I guess maybe when you look now, man, I wish I had went ahead on the married. I don't know, but maybe at the time, prior to dealing with Samantha, of course, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and jump the gun, man. Ain't nothing like a good rebound like we both have.
Not
just Samantha. I don't mean that in a negative way now. Let me fix that. Let me fix that up.
Yeah, please do. Please do. For us, please fix it.
You better fix it, or the couch gonna be waiting on him.
You had to go there, baby.
Oh, I know.
Hey, what you doing? Well, all right. Let me see. How can I say this? It's nothing like when the true love of God through a woman can come and rescue us.
That's better. Yeah, I agree.
All right. Okay. Okay, but listen, but we got to get into Tati and Angie, that situation, which was rather interesting. But here it is. You met this young lady, Samantha. Of course, you was a man who was looking for love.
Yeah.
No question about it. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
Okay, you were looking for love. So you met Samantha while you were working at Sears and Roebuck. Okay. Yeah. So here we are. You done met Samantha. And just give us a little bit insight on that, man. Then we're going to move forward. Give us a little more insight on that, man.
Well, like I say, man, like the book says, I mean, at the time when I met her, I just wanted love and a family. And at the time, she showed that she can give me that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So immediately when meeting her, I went all the way in because of what I was seeing at the moment. And I felt like she was the one. And which is why I skipped a lot of the steps as far as with, learning someone and learning their habits and all that, just really dating, because we didn't really date because I felt like this was the one. But then again, I didn't have nobody next to me to really guide me through what was happening, what I was seeing, what I was feeling, and nobody to tell me, hey, what you feeling, you ain't finna be feeling forever. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of went into it thinking that the high was gonna last forever. But
now,
I got a rude awakening though.
So now, but you say you didn't have nobody to tell you.
Yeah.
Now, when I read your book, now I felt that it was a lot of folks, man, that was really checking you on that.
No. I had people talking to me, telling me, but somebody with high influence, because the way they was telling me, it wasn't like they was saying, Gene, don't do it. They was like, Gene, you sure you? And that's what the book is explaining. They were saying, Gene, you sure you don't want to wait? Gene, Gene, I don't think this is a good idea. Maybe my sister, but at the same time,
Sean, right? Sean.
Yeah, somebody of high influence.
Like really a mother, father.
Exactly. And I really feel like had I had that, I would have took heed to it. But those people who I was talking to, I felt like I'll make it all right. I'll be all right because of how they was giving me the message.
So in essence, they were still on your same level.
Exactly. That's
your
the perfect way to put it.
Instead of someone above them, like an adult, a mentor.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So now here it is. Let me see. Where is it? I got a highlight here from the book. Let me see here. And you got so much. It says, okay.
I know, man. Take your time.
You got so much. I don't even know where to start, bro, because I thought I had this together. I apologize, man. But man, so here we go. Even the signs that this was not, Samantha was not. Okay, first start with sharing with us how you met Samantha. How would give us that?
Well, again, like the book explains, I met her. We was both working at Sears, and she was a new person and when a new person come in, everybody, all the guys try to get at a new person, and I shot my shot, seeing her every day, and I shot my shot, and I was able to move on in. But again,
but what attracted you to her though? What was it that attracted you?
It was the same attraction, like women. I mean, her looks and things like that, but mostly conversation, because we had conversations a lot. So it was over the time we just spent a lot of time together, which is what kind of brought us closer together. And again, there was nobody else I was spending my time with. I was spending all my time with her, which is how that came together so strong, so quick.
Now, but it seems even though you were spending time with her, I think the number one thing that really caught you off guard was the fact that, unknowing to you at first, she was not always transparent with herself as to who she was, or who that the woman that you were getting involved with, getting engaged with. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're right. Because she portrayed, like, at the time, I just felt like I was getting like the best woman ever. She was a godly woman. She was, educated, and who wouldn't want to go for that? Definitely with what I've been dealing with. Right. This was the best that I've been dealing with so far. So again, I just jumped the gun and say, all right, I'm taking it to the top.
But now, along their way there, like you say here, bro, if I was to show you how much stuff I got highlighted in this book, man, it's all good. I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way here. Because in one spot, you says here, let me see, where is it? Oh my God. Yeah, we didn't even talk about the college experience, man.
Nah.
Yeah. that was
I
another.
know it's funny, man. I know it's, listen, man, college is college, man. You on your own, and college is, it's in the book, though. It's in the book. It was fun. It was fun while it lasted, man.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Now looking back, the signs were there, but I chose to ignore them. I was not ready to get married, but I decided to do so anyway.
Yeah,
Why did you ignore the signs? If you say the signs were there, why did you ignore the signs? What signs did you ignore? Because I know I done jumped straight to the wedding, because there was a whole lot of stuff prior to you saying I do. Because even when you all was living together, y'all was still having conflict, right?
Yeah. It was a lot of conflict. I mean, money issues, communication issues. But at the time, again, I didn't have nobody to really break this down to me, because my only examples of marriage and everything was just TV. So I felt like I was the good man. I felt like I can adjust to what was happening. And that's kind of what it was. I always felt like I could adjust because of the man I am. I got a high tolerance level. And just a lot of situations that was going on early that I knew could amount to something. But at the end of the day, I felt like, she loved me the way she say she loved me. So everything will work itself out. And that's kind of the direction I was going with that. And deep inside, I knew was a lot of things I was missing, but I knew what type of man I was. I knew I was a good man. I knew I was a loyal man. And I know I was going to I would lay my life on the line for whoever I love. So like, who wouldn't want that? And I felt like me being that way would always straighten everything out. But,
right.
It turns out differently.
Well, it ended up, even during the relationship, you found that later on that she was still married.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, again, man, it's just I'm dazed. I got the stars in my head. I mean, I got the googly eyes, and I felt like everything would be all right. Yeah, she deceived me by saying she was married, and it was just, I don't know, man. Being young and just ignoring a lot of things, man, it just really got to me.
So now, you said that right there, being young. How old were you when you got married?
I was 22 at the time.
22 years old. 22. I said on the show last week, I said for any young man that is talking about getting married, the first thing he needs to do is to get somebody that can counsel him through that. Because without it, what do you know at 22 years old about marriage? You're still trying to deal and learn your own self. You have no clue of who you are as a man. So now, I want to ask this question here, though, because it seems, and I'm just going to get right into the meat of this whole conversation. Because as I was reading it, Jean, is that what I saw was that here it is. And listen, I want to encourage, listen, you all, go buy this book. You need to buy this book. Take your time. It's thick now. It's a good read. Go buy this book, The Good Guy. This guy is, this young man's story is good from the front to the back. Am I promoting it? Yes. Am I getting anything out of it? No. But I love the story, and I want to help this brother because he has a great story. And the thing of it is that there are so many men that can relate to this story. Maybe not the same journey, path, but so many men, because of the state that you married a woman who did not love you in return. It broke you.
Yes, it did.
It broke you. Now, this is what I was kept seeing every time I would read little things, and I'm highlighting. Baby, you can jump in whenever you know. I know you was getting ready to ask a question. You want to ask the question now? You want to ask it?
Well, you know, I already forgot.
You know, you got to write it down. Yeah.
You just on 1,000.
There you go.
I know the fellas are overwhelmed.
I'm hyped on this story.
Well, you know, while you think of your question,
Go ahead.
Jean was going through the process of writing this book. That's one thing I told Jean, like, he was going back and forth, you know, my story, you know, and I told him, I said, you know what, your story is so relatable. You know, a lot of men will find a lesson in this story that they probably, you know, no one there to talk to them, just like you.
Right.
And from there, he understood, like I said, your story has a purpose, regardless of what you feel, but it needs to be told because you've overcome a lot.
Absolutely. 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 Bro, listen, man. I know I gave it 5 stars on Amazon, man.
Thank you. Thank you for your 5.
I gave you 5. If it was 10 now, I'd have gave you 10. I should have put a ×2 on there, man. That book was good. The book was good. And you know, I'm an avid reader, so it was easy for me to read. But the book was good. But now, what I said, as I was saying, you was a young man that was looking for love at the age of 22, and you thought that getting married, having a family would fulfill that love for hunger. Now, the way I was looking at it, because your parents transitioned when you was at a young age, you lacked that love from them. Throughout the most important years of your life, especially going through adolescence, especially going through your teenage years, because I noticed that in a lot of periods in your life, you long for their love to be there because you said, man, I wish my parents were here. I wish my mother was here. I wish my father was here. Even if, as it related to football, as it related to a lot of decisions that you was facing there in your life, you long for your mother. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, and as I got older with my kids now, I realized the important role that they would have played in my life, you know, because I'm seeing how I am with my kids and I understand what I was missing, which is why I worked so hard to give my kids, you know, what I didn't have. And growing up, I longed for that, like all the time. I think about it all the time. I thought about it all the time when I was alone by myself, and I think that played a role into me jumping into getting married so quick, because I felt like, you know, this person can give me what I longed for. And again, that's the inexperience and that's the immaturity of me not understanding that what I wanted, like no matter how hard she tried, she wouldn't have been able to give it to me. You know what I'm saying? But it was hard, man. It was hard going through life by yourself, going through, you know, puberty, everything by yourself, and just wanting to hear a voice. You know, my parents, from what I can remember, they wasn't the greatest of parents, but I just knew one thing: they loved their kids. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I knew, like, I needed that. Just growing up, I just needed that so much, and I missed out on it. It's not my fault, you know. Of course, you know, God has his way of doing things, but that definitely played a huge role into me moving forward through my life. It played a huge role.
Okay, let's say we can't undo the transitioning of your parents, but now you at the age you are, knowing what you know and having the wisdom that you have right now, going back, let's say when you were 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, maybe. Yeah. What would you have done differently?
To be honest with you, I want to, cause I'm mature now. I understand how life works. I wouldn't have done nothing different because I understood everything happens for a reason, which my wife always says, everything happened for a reason. Tell you the truth, if my parents didn't die, if I didn't go through those transgressions, if I didn't just go through all that craziness, I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have been at the stage that I'm in now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we all have that woulda, shoulda, coulda moment. I mean, I long to see them and touch them. I'm gonna have this feeling forever. But my wife really helped me understand, and she always says to me when we going through certain things, when we having a major decision to make, and she always say, "Hey, it must be a reason. Everything happens for a reason." So, like, to be honest with you, I wouldn't change that, man. I wouldn't. If I know it's gonna lead me here, I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't change that.
So here it is. You done got married. It was already signs of you getting married to her.
Yeah.
And you was questioning, and even the day of, you want a traditional wedding, she didn't. You went to the courthouse, you got married. How about talk about that experience there? See, I'm gonna take all this stuff here, and then I'm gonna make a nice, beautiful goulash for some young men out there that are going through some stuff right now. Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, again, man, it's just I just had that feeling in me because I know what a wedding is. I know what marriage is, and it's just I wasn't with the untraditional thing because I'm a real traditional person, and just it's in the book. Just on my way there, I just have everything like in me to say, nah, man, this ain't the right thing. Even though I had everybody talking to me, you know what I'm saying? But for some reason, again, I was in a googly phase, and I felt like if I don't do this, I'm gonna lose this amazing woman because the pressure was put on me. Either we gonna do this or we not gonna be together because of course she was doing the God thing. I'm not gonna keep singing and all this, and we got to get married. And again, I'm 22 years old, and this is the only person I'm really communicating with on a real intimate level and real deep level. I'm not really, me and my siblings didn't really have deep conversations. I didn't really have deep conversations with other people, but and she just worked her way mentally in me, and everything was in me to, even when we was in the building, I was stumbling on words. Like I just knew if I didn't have no family members with me, it just didn't felt right. But I felt like, I'm a man of my word and I'm a man of honor. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna stand on that. And I was at a point of no return at that point.
Well, it seemed like, though, man, she had a gun to your head without even having a gun present.
And we had arguments about that. And I would say, and I used to say, man, you gave me an ultimatum that you shouldn't have gave me. But at the end of the day, you can do that to the 22-year-old Jean. You know what I'm saying? Because I just was immature, young, and I felt like this was the only woman in the world, and I wouldn't be able to get another woman like her, and I'm gonna be stuck forever. So I just went on and did it, man. So
the interesting thing, and I'm surprised you put this in the book, the night of the wedding, you were not intimate, but you had been intimate prior to that.
I'm just telling you, everything, it seemed like once the ring went on, everything just shifted, man. And I was like, what did I just do? No, actually in the book, actually in the book, the wedding was consummated.
Okay.
It wasn't how I wanted to do it. Because, when you get married, you want to be jumping all over the ceiling and all that. And it was just, I'm like, what the hell is this? You know what I'm saying? And at that point, I'm not gonna lie, and I said it in the book, and I was detailed with it. At that point, I realized I made a mistake. At that point, but I was at the point of no return. I say I'm gonna just ride it out. But at that point is when I realized this ain't the same person.
So here it is. You're striving to be a loving man and be there for her and everything, husband, for her, a man, a good man for her. But she did not reciprocate that back to you, though.
Nah, man. I mean, again, man, it's just we wasn't on the same level, because I think I always tell people this, and I share this with my wife a lot. When you have people coming from two different backgrounds and have two different kind of motivations in life, like you're never going to see eye to eye. Like things are just never going to fall in line. And I think her motivations was different than my motivations. Like my motivation was always family and love, because I understand at the end of the day, that's what you stand on, love and family. Right. And over there it wasn't the same, which is why like things kind of just crumbled as time went on.
So how, well, I gotta listen. Okay, because this way I want to get to the broken part. At that point, that's when she began to break you down. Because one of the things she started challenging you about you not making enough money.
Yeah. This was towards the end.
Right. Okay. Yeah. The intimacy became lacked.
Yeah.
You find out that she was involved with another man.
This was later on. This was after I left. I found out all this, that she was entertaining somebody else. I found this out after I left, but leading up to that, like everything was just going downhill. Everything, it was all in the makings of just brokenness, and there was no love there was no passion. We barely spoke. We barely was around each other, and the end was near. It was near, and again, I was broken. Like, she broke me because, like, I'm holding on to something that was hurting me more.
For the men that may be listening,
yeah,
and may be for the men that are listening, and may be thinking that they may be in a similar situation to this, because I want to get to your wife. It was something she did there, bro. I talked.
I know. I was honest about it, man. I was honest about it.
Yeah. What would you consider to be? How would you define your brokenness as a man? And what was there any one thing particular that your former wife did that that you would consider to have been the catalyst of breaking you as a man? Define your brokenness.
I wouldn't think is a particular thing, but along the years, when you put in so much work, when you honoring this person, when you doing everything you're supposed to do, like I wasn't going out with my friends, I was a father to my kids, I was always home, I was cooking, I was working, I was doing everything, and I just think at some point as a man, you feel like this thing need to click. I want her to understand who I really am and what I have done up to this point. And for you to just, for me to just be dismissed as if I did nothing in a relationship, as if I was, because towards the end, I was being told that I was dead weight when I was the one really, carrying us through a certain point. We made an agreement, but then like you start looking at me this way when I really stood in the paint for us. I took all this stuff, and when you sit down and you realize that, like, it hurts you. It hurts you because you know how much you put into this person. I'm not even gonna say the marriage, just this person, and all you wanted is that back, and to know that, like, you was being played with. And that's just not a good feeling, man. It's just not a good feeling. So that's it in a nutshell.
I found a highlight here. It says that Snoop and I were closer than everyone else. He repeatedly voices displeasure with me getting married. His main concern was the time which we were together. He felt we needed more time to get to know each other.
Yeah.
And 6 months was not enough time. I didn't dare tell him about me being pressured into getting married, because I knew he would be even more dissatisfied with my decision.
To this day, he still mess with me about that. To this day, because again, he was in my ear, but like you said earlier, we was on the same level. So it was just really homeboys talking.
So I'm like, okay, but I think there's a message there. Because
it is, but I ignored it because I was in a googly phase. I was
okay. So then, what we want to say to
no, I wasn't honest with him on purpose. I wasn't honest on purpose because I got to a point where I didn't want to be convinced no more. I made my mind.
Wow.
I made my mind up. I didn't want to be convinced.
So
anybody,
go ahead.
No. So anybody, and then the kind of relationship we had, I was isolated away from everybody. Because it was just me and this person.
She separated you.
Yeah, I was isolated, and the God thing was used. The devil and all that was being used. Like, you need to focus on this in this family because this is what God wants. Like, it was really pushed on me. So I even pushed my own family away because I felt like that was the godly thing to do.
You wrote in there, she quoted scriptures from the Bible to further convince me that God was in full control, and everyone who was against us getting married was going against God's will. After talking to Samantha, I disregarded my doubts about getting married. It was time to tell everyone else. Yeah. How am I doing here?
No, you spot on. That's what it was. That's what it was. I just, again, man, like I allowed her to penetrate me so deep to where now it was her, like I was like a puppet, and she can move me how she want to move me, and she was just using all her tactics to really get me to her likings and what she wanted me to do. Not because I kind of gave up all my, being aggressive and everything, and I let her run the show, and I just followed along. And this is what happens when somebody gets so deep in your mind like that. This is what happens.
You wrote here, she told me some words that were thought-provoking before I left. She said, Jean, don't be a rebound, as in being someone who uses another person to help them get over a broken relationship. Is that what she did to you?
Yeah,
I'm talking to some brothers out there. I hope some of your brothers are hearing
this. I mean, this was when we was gone. This was after. What you're speaking of is after.
Okay.
And she was on a high horse because, of course, I left the house. I left with nothing, and I was just I had nothing. I was broken, and I'm at my sister's house sleeping on the floor. And, I'm like, this can't be life. This can't be life. You know what I'm saying? And around this time was when I started meeting my wife, when I met my wife. And we spoke about that earlier. And I wasn't completely honest with my wife because I felt like even after having the first conversation with her, she's
I'm coming to that.
She's such an accomplished woman. And here I am, a broken man. I'm a broken man. I have baggage. I have an ex-wife, and like I'm at a low end job. I'm like, why would she want somebody like me? And my confidence was all the way low. So coming into it, I just was like, I was talking to her, but at the same time, I felt talking to my wife at the beginning that I was easily replaceable, which is why we had a lot of issues at the beginning.
Oh, did we?
I just felt like I was easily replaceable. Yeah. I mean, I felt like I was easily replaceable. So it was a lot of issues at the beginning.
A lot of issues.
Well, what type of issues? I know you said a lot of issues, such as what?
But hold on, before you answer that, I want to say, let me put this comment up.
Okay.
Ms. Carville said, boy, she was a master manipulation. I call it super narcissist.
Oh, boy.
That's what I got from you.
I stay away from saying that word, but absolutely, that commenter is absolutely correct. She is a narcissist, and she totally.
She manipulated.
Yeah, very much so.
Manipulated.
Yeah.
So
and I'm saying that from personal experience, meeting this person in real life.
Wow.
So you recognize the sign almost immediately. And you asked earlier about what were the problems. It was never, because Jean met me, and us talking, he realized, like, I don't need you for financial gains. I don't need you necessarily. All I needed, and I explained to him from when we first met, is a support system. And that's all I wanted from him. But he was so hurt, and it was a communication thing. He was still in that narcissist haze where he always felt like he had to defend himself because how they started learning to communicate with each other. So we had to get through all of that to where we are right now. It was a lot.
My sister said that last week about how narcissists, people who are victims of narcissists,
right,
that they feel they have to justify every action, every
action, and it was horrible. And the self-esteem, because he was such a broken man. But beyond that, I saw the loving man that he was and all of his strengths. And no matter what I asked him for, Or, you know, my sorority sister says this to me all the time. You give the Marcelins a piece of wood, they can build a house together. But I knew this was my yin to my yang, and I had an idea, he follows through. So we just worked so well together when it came to that. So, you know, it just worked in that way.
It took some time though, man.
Yeah.
She realized, she helped me realize, because I didn't want to believe that I was a broken man. I always felt like, because of my journey up to this point, because of my journey, I always felt like I'm battle tested. I made it this far, so like I'm good. And to be told, as any human, to be told that you're not okay, there's going to be natural resistance.
Wow.
Like, wow. Who are you to tell me I'm not okay? But, you know, it wasn't until I started accepting that something was wrong with me, that's when we started moving forward. But, you know, until I accepted that, Jean, maybe you're not all right. Maybe you're not all right. Maybe you need to work on certain things. And that's when things started changing.
You hear what he said? What did I say? If a man want to be free of whatever situation, the first thing toward his healing from brokenness is that he needs to admit that something is wrong with him.
Absolutely.
He has to admit. He may not be the baddest lion in the bunch, but he has to be willing to admit that something is wrong with him before it can be addressed. Now, the question I want to ask you, Miss Molly, okay, so he's putting on this facade that he is all well, dandy, and fine and everything. At what period through your relationship did you realize that you was dealing or having conversation with a broken man? A man, let me say this, a man who had been broken. At what period of time? Was the man that you scoped him out and found out that he was still married when he said he wasn't?
Oh, yeah. Well, I do background checks on everybody. Let's just get that straight. Everybody gets the background check, and I'm going to find out. So I just don't understand, you know. Hey, but right from the beginning, I realized almost immediately that he was dealing with some traumas from that relationship. And then when he started telling me his story, I realized so quickly this is not just trauma from this previous relationship. It's from childhood. I mean, it went a little further back than that. This narcissist just made it worse. But I realized almost immediately that, he was broken. And, I recognize him because I was traumatized as a child too, had my own battle scars, but I realized what he was going through. So at least, even if we were not together, I just wanted to be his friend because he was so awesome. And I just wanted, hey, let me help you through this. Let me, I guess it's in me. But that's what I kind of realized from the beginning,
But okay, so you realize this. You started realizing, this man, he got some real personal issues that's really not his fault.
Right.
But yet still, you, as he pointed out, you were an accomplished woman. What was it that moved you to further relationship? I don't mean this in a negative way. I don't lack of a way to say it. What was it that moved you to want to take a chance on him?
Because, I was never like that. Like, when I'm dating somebody or when I'm with somebody, because again, it never is about an economic thing with me and whoever I'm with. What I look for in anybody, my mates, is that the potential to want to go far, the potential to want to change, the potential to address their traumas. So in Jean has never been like, it was resistance in the beginning, but he always was willing to accept and try to work to be better. And it was always potential. Like, he always wanted to do these things. But I felt like the prior relationship he was never given that opportunity. Because if you read certain areas of that book, it was quite clear. This is a quite intelligent man, just not given the right opportunities and did not have the right support. So we always had the potential to build together, and that's what I saw in him. So that really is what gave the opportunity for me. So
that sounds familiar, man.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell your side of the story?
Well, I've always been a type of person that I wouldn't, listen to the narrative that was out there, but I would make my own decision from getting to know the person. And that's actually what happened with us. I mean, there was so much talk and so much chatter coming about him, but I had to shut all of that down. And I saw past all of that, what was being said. And I saw, like you said, the good in him. I saw that this man had vision, and he just needed someone to give him to give
absolutely. But I told you, I said, listen, every powerful man, if they don't have that right woman behind them, it doesn't matter how intelligent, how much money they have. I mean, a woman has the power to really change the trajectory of a man's life. If they really do.
Yes.
I mean, men have the same power too. But yes. So I told him the previous relationship you possibly was in, y'all could have had $1 million, and I don't think if that's not the right person for you, you would have ever reached this potential that you are now.
Exactly.
I agree.
Let me play something real quick. See if I can play something real. I'm gonna see if I can play something.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully it'll play.
You just can't hear the sound of it.
Ain't nothing else to say. That was a true statement, what he said. You know, it's nothing like choosing the right partner. So we got to wrap this up because it's coming time that we went way over the longer than, they're saying no voice for the video. I apologize, you all. It's too late for me to fix that now. I do oh God, what I was going to get ready to say. This is a thing that, okay, so here we go, Jean. Your son, how old is your son now?
18 and 14.
Okay, 18 and 14. So here it is, your 18-year-old son. And now let's fast forward to 3 years. He's 21 years old. He got his eyes on this young lady. And he's thinking about building this relationship with him. And maybe possibly he might even be talking about the M word. What are you saying to him, man? What words of wisdom are you saying to your son? And if you can, say it in a way that it can apply to any young man out there so that they can avoid becoming broken.
With my son, because I would just really tell him, learn who you with, know who you with. If you would know in your heart, if you know this is the right person, don't ignore the signs. If there's a sign there, don't ignore it. But take your time to really learn this person, and not only learn them, learn their intentions. And that's the whole difference with this marriage and my last marriage. I was able to learn her intentions for me, which is for her to support me into being the greatest me that I can be. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one thing that with all this going on with these young people, kids now, we can't skip steps. There's steps to getting to where we at now. The main I want people to focus on, him to focus on, is learning the person's intentions for you, because some people have cruel intentions, and you don't know that you're going to be part of whatever they got going on, man. So that would be the main lesson that I have for my son.
And you're saying that with conviction because you had a lot of red flags that you ignored.
A lot. But hey, me ignoring red flags wouldn't have got me right here today. So hey,
I got
everything happens for a reason, man. Everything happens for a reason, man.
So here it is. You have an adult man that is sharing, pouring his heart out to you, going through, and his story you can relate to. It sounds so resemblance. What are you saying to that man?
The first thing I tell him is, I understand how you feel. Let it all out. This is emotion. It's okay to cry. It's okay to really, let everything out. You know, I don't want you. The thing I don't want you to do is feel like something's wrong with you because you're showing this emotion. That's a lot of issues that we have in our men today, to where we're groomed to think that men ain't supposed to cry. But you know, cry, man, cry it out. But for the most part, learn from it, and understand what caused this. Understand what you're really going through. This is the time for you to get more in tune with yourself and knowing what you want and what you're feeling. Because men have feelings too. We're just not expressing it the way women do. But you know, once you're able to really be emotional and really understand yourself, sky's the limit for you. You're able to move forward better. You're able to move forward and really love differently when you're able to just express yourself a certain way.
Let me ask you this one more question, then we're gonna get out of here. And I'm gonna address this question for both of you. You went into marriage or went into a relationship looking for love.
Yeah.
Because you technically, I think we've all agreed that because you didn't get it when you were at a younger age. You wanted to have that experience. You wanted to have that feeling, that emotional feeling of what it is like when someone pat you on the back, give you praise, acknowledge you, give you that affirmation that you need as a man. Okay. But yet though, there was something that I know that I had to learn, and I think a lot of men need to learn this here. And you can tell me whether or not you agree with it or not. And I want you to speak to it as well, Miss Molly. You had to learn, or would you say, before you can really give love to Molly, you had to learn how to love yourself first?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been able. We wouldn't have made it this far had I not learned to love myself. And then with her, she made me start loving myself, because she noticed that Jean, you put too much focus on me, because we had an issue at the beginning where she said, Jean, you put me on such a high pedestal, drop me down human, you know what I'm saying, and put some of that focus on you. You deserve it. And I had to learn that, you know what I'm saying. If I ain't understand that concept of loving me, it wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have got this far.
Yeah, even as the gifts that I give him throughout the year, there's nothing really tangible, but it's about loving and very therapeutic. Him loving himself and him understanding how he's worth it. You know what I'm saying? He puts a lot into us as a family, but he never takes those opportunities. So whatever I do, or whatever I give him as a gift, or even thoughtfulness things, it's about him learning to love himself. But yes, it's a daily work for both of us.
How long have you been married now?
Thursday made 3 years. But we've been together almost 10.
Yeah.
Almost 10, but Thursday made 3 years.
Okay.
Best wedding ever. Whoever was there,
I'm telling you,
you missed it. Best wedding ever.
Yeah.
And that's how I described it in the book. This is one of the best moments ever in my life.
Yeah. You said I looked out at our guests that night of our wedding. I couldn't help but think of my parents. I always looked out for a sign from them, since I had so many unanswered questions. But I realized that they never really left me, especially during my most difficult and even near-death moments. I remember that I escaped being shot in point-blank range. And then you go through some other things here. But, bro, you I can't say enough, and I just want to say congratulations to you, brother. Hey, because you are a survivor of brokenness. I think we need to start that kind of,
Yeah, you should be sure.
Well, again, listen, I want to survive without the right person next to me, man. So
it makes a difference.
It helps. Yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? We got it. We got to clear the airway right now, though. We got to clear the airway. Yeah. So, but hey, Jean, Miss Molly, thank you so much. Even for, I know you said in the beginning, this is not something that you normally do, but we certainly thank you for taking the time to come on.
Yeah, I'm blessed because she don't come on camera now. So this gotta be special. Y'all special now. She don't come on camera for anybody now.
Oh,
Great job.
yeah, she did, man. I don't think it would have been as good as it was without her, man. That's why I gotta have my wife as well, man. She done been coming on here a couple of times, man, and I think people are falling in love with her more than they falling with me. So let me just go ahead on just keep this train going, man. Yeah, but hey, man, we definitely share similar experiences, no question about it. But I'm glad that you made it out. Hey, listen, everybody, go to Amazon.com, The Good Guy, my story by Jean Marcelin. You want to get this book, please. You got to get this book. And then also, hey, look, this is another one here. Just Between Us Girls by Miss Dominique Dumafield. Great book. We want to get that as well. Also, where is it at? I can't leave this one now. Like the lady who brought me to this world. Let's get her book on here as well. Diary of a Virtuous Wife. Hey, listen, just inbox me if you want this information, how to get a hold of these books and this material. Please do not forget to go check us out on YouTube as well as Facebook. Continue to support us here. And without any further ado, listen, thank you so much. And we want to say good night to everybody.
Lionel Nelson here, and welcome to A Father's Note, promoting fathers through building men. It's so important that we always stand up for our fathers.
We want you to know we're with you. We're standing behind you 110%.